in the glamorous world of Hollywood, there are challenges of time and all prejudices. Today, we will lift the veil of mystery about one of the biggest, most complicated, and controversial monuments, Tom Cruise. The man reigns at the pinnacle of fame as the #1 movie star on the planet. But yes, you heard right, that seemingly impregnable empire seems to be shaking. Broken marriages, fierce battles revolving around his close relationship with the mysterious Church of Scientology, reckless actions that almost cost his life. All are gradually casting a shadow over his brilliant career. To understand Tom Cruise today, we have to go back in time to July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York. Thomas Cruise Mapother IV was born into a family that was not well off, the second of 4 children. Tom's childhood was not one of ease, but of constant moving and financial struggles. His father, Thomas Cruise Mapother III, an electrical engineer, is a haunting figure in Tom's memory. He does not remember him as a breadwinner, but describes him as abusive and unreliable. The instability of his father certainly left a mark on the young Tom, perhaps sowing the seeds of a strong desire for control later in life as a way to counter the tumultuous world he perceived. His mother, Mary Lee, a special education teacher, did her best to provide a stable Catholic environment, a fragile anchor in the storm. But the burden of making a living was always heavy. Tom was no mere child. He was soon thrown into the workforce to support his family. It was not only a lesson in the value of money, but also an early training in a work ethic that would shape him later in life. The instability did not stop at finances. The family moved frequently. As a result, Tom had to attend 15 different schools in just 14 years. Imagine the difficulty in making friends, building a sense of belonging. At one point, the family moved to Canada due to his father's military service. It was in that foreign land that an unexpected passion blossomed. Tom joined the drama club and began performing in school plays. A teacher recognized his natural talent. The dream of acting began to grow, an escape, a world where he could create his own reality. But fate seemed to test Tom. His parents divorced. His mother took the children back to the U.S., while his father stayed in Canada and later died of cancer. For a brief period, Tom sought peace and structure in religion, considering becoming a priest and even enrolling in a seminary. However, this path quickly closed when he was expelled for drinking and causing trouble. His inner rebellion showed that the path of ecclesiastical life was not for him. Back in high school in the U.S., Tom tried his hand at football, but trouble came when he was caught drinking before a game. He was restless, constantly changing jobs or quitting them. But amidst all the turmoil and failure, the passion for acting never dimmed. Tom's last high school was in New Jersey, where he continued to act in plays. In 1980, he graduated with a desire to conquer the world. With the support of his mother and stepfather, Tom Cruise packed his bags and set out, armed only with ambition and a little money. He worked as a waiter, went to auditions, and never gave up. His hard work finally paid off. A big break came when he moved to Los Angeles and caught the eye of Creative Artists Agency, CAA, one of the top talent agencies. The doors to Hollywood began to open. His first role in Endless Love, 1981, was small but noticeable. That same year, he had a more important role in Taps, playing a rebellious military cadet, showing the strength and determination inside. Endless Love paved the way for Tom Cruise, and roles began to come his way. One of his early breakthroughs was appearing in The Outsiders, a film adaptation of a famous novel. He also starred in All the Right Moves. Hollywood began to take a real interest in this promising young man. At the same time, Tom's personal life was also attracting media attention, with relationships with actresses such as Rebecca De Mornay, Patty Scialfa, and even the legendary Cher. However, amidst the emotional distractions, Tom remained highly focused on his acting career. Then, in 1983, The big hit changed everything. Risky business. The role of a high school student who turns his home into a brothel while his parents are away was a bold, image-breaking choice. It was a gamble, but Tom won big. His performance was not only charming, but also had a hidden rebelliousness, an irresistible charm. The film was a huge success both critically and commercially. Tom Cruise was no longer a promising actor, he had officially become a superstar. But the real turning point, shaping the image of Tom Cruise in the hearts of the global public, came in 1986 with Top Gun. Initially, he was hesitant, but the producers convinced him by letting him experience the feeling of flying a real F-14 fighter jet. The speed, the excitement, the feeling of mastering the sky, Tom was completely conquered. This was the beginning of the brand Tom Cruise, the ultimate commitment to performing dangerous action scenes himself. He learned to ride a motorcycle, got used to controlling the F-14. The first flight was not easy. He even got seasick and vomited when the pilot performed complex aerobatics. Top Gun was more than just a movie. It was a cultural phenomenon. It blew up the box office, cemented Tom Cruise's status as an A-list superstar, and ignited a passion for speed and action that would define his career for decades to come. The Maverick had truly taken to the skies of Hollywood. In 1987, Tom Cruise married actress Mimi Rogers. The marriage was significant, not only because of their love, but also because it was Mimi who introduced Tom to the Church of Scientology, a controversial organization that would become so closely associated with and shape much of his life and public image. The relationship didn't last, and they divorced in 1990, citing busy schedules and distance. But the seeds of Scientology had been sown. Rather than wallow in his emotional failure, Tom threw himself into his work. He starred opposite the legendary Paul Newman in The Color of Money. 1988 saw both failure and success. Cocktail was panned by critics and nominated for several Razzies. But that same year, Rain Man, co-starring Dustin Hoffman, became a masterpiece. Initially, both actors were skeptical. Hoffman even wanted to quit the role. But the perfect collaboration, tireless rehearsals, and even role swapping created a classic film, winning 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. Tom's performance, although not winning an award, was still praised by the legendary Michael Caine as perfect, showing depth and sophistication, winning the sympathy of the audience. 1989. He played Ron Kovich, a real-life Vietnam veteran who was paralyzed on one side. The role required great physical and emotional sacrifice, completely different from his previous romantic image. This powerful performance earned him a Golden Globe, a Chicago Film Critics Association Award, a People's Choice Award, and his first Oscar nomination for Best Actor. By 1990, Tom's star power was undeniable, and he was named the sexiest man alive by People magazine. He returned to the romantic action genre in Days of Thunder, a NASCAR racing film. It was on the set of this film that fate arranged for him to meet Nicole Kidman, who would become his second wife. Tom was fascinated by Nicole's performance in another film and offered her the female lead. The idea for Days of Thunder came after Tom and Paul Newman test drove race cars together. Excited, they decided to make the film even when the script was not complete, often inventing the plot just before shooting. Tom was so passionate that he tried to read his lines from a card on the windshield while driving, resulting in a minor accident. He then had to use a headset to receive his lines. Tom's passion for speed, which he had developed as a child, was fueled by working with Newman, Tom, and Nicole. They fell madly in love and quickly became Hollywood's most sought-after and powerful couple. They married on Christmas Eve 1990. Nicole later shared that she loved Tom so much that she put all her personal plans on hold. She longed to start a family, but was devastated when she suffered an ectopic pregnancy. This heartbreaking experience led them to adopt two children, Isabella and Connor, through the Church of Scientology. In 1992, the couple reunited on screen in Far and Away. In 1993, Tom starred in the legal thriller The Firm. His power was so great that he negotiated to have his name appear as the only name above the film's title on the poster, a move that reportedly upset co-star Gene Hackman. Despite the behind-the-scenes drama, The Firm was a box office hit, grossing $270 million. In 1996, he played Ethan Hunt in Mission: Impossible. It wasn't just a role. Tom also took on the role of producer with Paula Wagner and was deeply involved in the months-long script development process, initially with director Sidney Pollack, before bringing in Brian De Palma, whose talent he admired, to direct. The script went through several revisions. It was revised, but the main plot, the framed agent must clear his name, remained. De Palma convinced Tom to shoot the opening scenes in Prague, a location rarely seen in Hollywood films at the time, which gave it a unique feel. The studio wanted to save money, but Tom had a vision for a spectacular action film. He helped the studio by performing most of his own stunts, even the near-death ones. Tom does the CD trick, the fish tank scene, the iconic rope scene, suspended just inches above the pressure-sensing floor. That was all Tom Cruise, not CGI. He struggled to keep his balance, repeatedly hitting his head on the floor. The final solution? Putting a coin in his shoe to counterbalance it. The trick of fooling Jean Reno's character with the CD? That was a real magic trick that Tom had practiced himself. Mission: Impossible swept the box office, breaking records on its opening day. Instead of the usual $20 million salary, Tom opted for a percentage of the profits, a decision that paid off handsomely. The film received critical acclaim and, most importantly, launched one of the most successful and enduring franchises in film history, with Tom Cruise playing the irreplaceable Ethan Hunt. Cruise's career continued to soar, but a dramatic personal drama was quietly unfolding behind the scenes. His seemingly fairy tale marriage to Nicole Kidman began to unravel, and persistent rumors suggested that Tom's deepening ties to the Church of Scientology played a key role. By this point, Tom had become one of the most famous and influential Scientologists in the world. There were whispers that the church's leader, David Miscavige, had a strong influence on Tom, convincing him that he could not survive without the religion. For Nicole, a devout Catholic whose father was a psychologist, Tom's intense devotion to Scientology and her concerns about his behavior became irreconcilable differences. In 1997, Nicole left Scientology. Rumors circulated that she had interrupted Tom's services and questioned the church's intentions. While the full details remain murky, the strain on the marriage was undeniable. By 2001, they were officially divorced. Their two adopted children, Isabella and Connor, chose to stay with Tom and remain involved with the Church of Scientology. Despite the divorce, Tom tried to maintain a bond with his children, even leaving the 2002 Academy Awards early to go home and watch with them. But then, in 2004, an event occurred that forever changed the public's perception of Tom Cruise. In a bold and controversial move, Tom announced that he believed psychiatry should be banned, a position that is completely in line with Scientology's beliefs. The statement sparked a media firestorm, drawing widespread criticism from mental health advocates, and led many to question Tom's judgment and his affiliation with the church. The controversy escalated in 2005 when he publicly criticized actress Brooke Shields for using Paxil, an antidepressant, to treat postpartum depression. Tom argued that there was no scientific basis for mental illness and that psychiatric drugs were harmful. Brooke Shields was not silenced, and she fought back, defending her decision to seek treatment and urging Cruise to focus on making action movies instead of interfering with women's healthcare choices. The war of words sparked a fierce debate about psychiatry, and the legitimacy of mental health treatment. The situation came to a head during Tom's appearance on NBC's Today Show in June 2005. In a heated exchange with host Matt Lauer, Tom defended his views on psychiatry, dismissed the effectiveness of medication, and appeared quite aggressive. The interview quickly went viral, with many criticizing Tom for his seemingly aggressive stance on mental health issues. The medical community reacted strongly, expressing concern that Tom Cruise's comments were harmful and increased the stigma surrounding mental illness. The negative impact was similar to when someone feels ashamed of having an illness and hides it instead of seeking help. Tom's words made it harder for those who truly needed treatment to feel comfortable seeking help. Even The Lancet, a prestigious medical journal, weighed in. While acknowledging that psychiatric medications can sometimes be misused and that lifestyle changes can be beneficial, they criticized Tom for making things worse for those struggling with mental health issues. Brooke Shields, speaking out on behalf of mothers everywhere, called Tom's comments insulting, especially to those struggling with postpartum depression. Finally, in August 2006, Tom realized the impact of his words and personally apologized to Brooke Shields. Scientology's anti-psychiatry beliefs clearly influenced this controversial stance. This view is also said to have caused a rift with director Steven Spielberg, who had worked with him on Minority Report. In March 2004, another major change occurred in Tom Cruise's professional life. His longtime publicist, Pat Kingsley, a highly respected figure in Hollywood, abruptly resigned. Tom replaced her with his sister, Leigh Ann DeVette, who was also a Scientologist. This move further fueled speculation about Scientology's growing influence on Tom's career decisions. Leigh Ann's tenure, however, was short-lived. By November 2005, she was replaced by Paul Block from the renowned PR firm Rogers & Cowan in what was seen as an attempt to control the media crisis. The Church of Scientology was involved in the selection of Tom Cruise's next girlfriend, hoping to avoid a repeat of the Nicole Kidman affair. They reportedly introduced him to actress Nazanin Boniadi, but the relationship did not last. Soon after, Tom met Katie Holmes at a party in Hollywood, and the two quickly fell in love. Katie had admired Tom since she was a young girl, and their relationship was a modern-day fairy tale. In a whirlwind of excitement, Tom made his famous confession on Oprah Winfrey's show, jumping up and down on the sofa, a moment that went down in pop culture history, but also left many questioning his sanity. Soon after, they announced that they were expecting their first child. Tom was so excited that he bought a $200,000 ultrasound machine for home use, a decision that was criticized by the medical community. He later promised to donate the machine to the hospital. In 2006, their daughter Suri was born. Just 6 months later, Tom proposed to Katie on top of the Eiffel Tower. They had a lavish Scientology wedding in Italy with David Miscavige as best man. Katie, who was Catholic, converted to Scientology to marry Tom. Amidst the turmoil in his personal life, Tom's career did not slow down. In 2006, he returned to the big screen with Mission: Impossible 3, which received better reviews than the second installment and grossed $400 million. Tom remained at the top of his game, being named Hollywood's most influential actor by Premiere Magazine and the world's most influential celebrity by Forbes. Tom next reteamed with Cameron Diaz in the action comedy Night and Day, but quickly returned to more serious action in Mission: Impossible, Ghost Protocol. This film took Tom's action chops to new heights, literally. At the age of 49, he climbed the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, performing a daring stunt that most actors would never attempt. Ghost Protocol became a huge hit, breaking franchise records and grossing over $694 million worldwide. But in 2012, Tom Cruise's personal life took another dramatic turn when Katie Holmes unexpectedly filed for divorce. Many believed the cause was her concerns about Scientology and its impact on their daughter Suri. As part of the divorce settlement, Tom lost primary custody of Suri and now has limited contact with his daughter, although he continues to pay a significant amount of child support. In 2018, he made a stunning return as Ethan Hunt in Mission: Impossible Fallout. At 56, Tom took the action to even more insane heights. He performed a halo skydive from 25,000 feet. In another scene, he broke his ankle while jumping between buildings, but incredibly, he kept running to finish the scene, demonstrating an incredible commitment to his craft. That dedication paid off. Mission: Impossible Fallout became a huge hit, grossing over $791 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing film in the entire franchise. With that success, it's no surprise that 2 sequels were announced. Tom was even spotted filming on top of a moving train for Mission: Impossible 7. It's hard to imagine what other crazy stunts he's planning to pull off, and the excitement doesn't stop there. In 2020, it was announced that Tom would star in and produce a movie that would actually be shot in space. He's teaming up with director Doug Liman and is set to travel to the International Space Station on a SpaceX rocket. Now that's Mission: Impossible. Tom Cruise's life has been a true adventure, both on screen and off. What do you think of the star? Leave your comments below. We hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to leave a comment. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next videos. Bye. Videos.